guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my special filming spot locations because guess what? We have that one 3-row SUV that still is bringing some zoom. It's this one right here. This is a 2023 Mazda CX-9. This particular one is the top signature trim. But before we get into this all-wheel drive turbocharged SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Mazda. For so many years, it was about zoom. No longer do they use that in their marketing and advertisement, but you know what? To me, that's what they still bring. This vehicle really focuses on not only having space for your family and your passengers, but also that driver engagement. Now, what's interesting is we are on the cusp of an all-new replacement for this vehicle, which will be called the CX-90. So what I want to find out is, with basically the final year of this vehicle, should you be jumping on one and getting it now? Or do you want to hold out for the CX-90 and see what it brings? Why don't we go ahead, let's dive in and find out, is this really that perfect balance of an SUV you should be buying? Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, the style. It's interesting because this has not had a major redesign in some time now, but still on the exterior looks very fresh. You can see at the front of the business how I love Mazda does their headlight housings. I think this is one of the reasons why the vehicle has aged so well. Very small, very angular, and you'll notice, of course, you'll have LED daytime running lamps. You have your adaptive LED headlights that turn with the steering wheel, and you have your LED turn signals. So no old-fashioned light bulbs, which guess what? There's some 2023 SUVs that do still have those. Now, working your way down, I love the smooth finish. One of the zonks, though, is this guy right here. What is going on, Mazda? Make this some type of fog lamp, which I know that they have fog lamps down below here. They should have made this a nice larger fog lamp and just got rid of this one. Or made it a functional air curtain. Let me know what you think. Would you like to have seen this larger area be the fog lamp instead of this little tiny pea-sized one down below? Let me know in that comment section. You do get some shiny chrome because this is that signature trim. So this is more of that high-end luxury. And wait till we get to the interior because we got Napa leather in this CX-9. Now, as we come across that traditional front grille, I do like the way they did this nice bright silver finish with the horizontal slots here. Everything is functional. You do have a forward-facing camera, very important when you're trying to park in those tighter spots. And you'll notice the chrome trim around the bottom portion of the grille. If you look closely, it actually mimics the badge. So the Mazda logo is that, you see that little V shape? That's what they got going on with the trim. On the lower portion, you have this lower lip that extends out, flat black with the chrome, and it is functional. And what that thing is lurking behind is the intercooler because, like I said, we have turbocharged power underneath the hood. Now, when we get up onto that low slung nose, very clean design, and that's that whole Cujo, well, more like a Cujo styling to the finish. Everything nice and smooth, no rear, like real hard edges, which is nice. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. You're looking at these hand-polished aluminum wheels, 20-inch in size. I like the way it's a nice, simple spoke design. Doesn't have to be anything overly complicated. At all four corners, you're gonna have 255 on the width, 50 series sidewall. And like I said, with the CX-9, Mazda still puts that focus on the chassis and the suspension to give great driving dynamics through the steering wheel. My one other zonk that we have at the start of this video is gonna be this right here, the flat black. I wish that this was color matched, especially with that metallic gray finish. Let me know in the comment section if you mind this or you don't mind the flat black around the fender treatment. I think on the top trim, this should be all color matched, but still looking great. And the good news is it's not as high as, say, the CX-50 or the CX-30. So it's on the shorter side. Now, as we come down the side, you are gonna get color matched on the mirror caps, that LED lighting, nicely done. Of course, we got a little bit of chrome, like a big old butter knife along the bottom sill. Color matched door handles, shiny, bright metalwork top and bottom, and you have these aluminum style finish roof rails. Like I said, with this being the signature trim, that's where you're finding those bits. I would go that carbon edition. It's a little bit more on the sportier side, but it's gonna be interesting to see when it comes to size and when it comes to shape, what that CX-90 is gonna be bringing. But guess what? We're gonna be bringing it to you here on Rady's Ride, so stay tuned for that. We keep working our way back. Good size on the rear quarter window. When it comes to a mid-size SUV, this one is not as big and blocky as some of the newer ones. Like for example, the new Pilot, the new Telluride, the new Palisade. This one has more of a subtle, sleek style to it. Say that 10 times fast. With its overall design, I love the way, just like the headlights, they do great taillights on the Mazda products, especially with everything being full LED. You get that chrome brow along the center. Of course, you know what I'm gonna tell you. Get rid of this guy. I would make this spoiler come out a little bit further, eliminate that and have it underneath the spoiler. That would clean up the whole rear of the vehicle. But one of my favorite things is how the rear just goes straight down to the ground. You don't have a rear bumper that, you know, comes out to here. So when you're backing up, it's not gonna cause you any kind of issues with anything protruding out. So that's a nice touch. And then on the bottom portion, guess what? You have a functional exhaust on each side and a little bit of chrome trim, just like up front. A lot of brands put fake exhaust, like on the new Pilot. No exhaust, exhaust on one side, exhaust on the roof. No, people aren't doing that, but you have your one exhaust on each side. Nice stainless steel tip / cut. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower of this CX-90. All right guys, we got the hood popped. I'm gonna have to zonk the prop rod, not only for it being here instead of hood struts, but it's kind of like smack dab in the center of everything. But what do we got going on? You have that tried and true 2.5 liter inline 4 turbocharged engine. Now you might say to yourself, whoa, Joe, turbocharged engine, 4-cylinder? Is that gonna be enough power? Don't worry, you'll see when we go on throttle. This has plenty of zip and that zoom. It's a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, 250 horsepower, but the bigger news is 320 pound-feet of torque. It is still made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission. I don't mind that. It's not a CVT. It's got all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. Top speed is governed to 132 miles per hour. MPGs, 20 in the city, 26 on the highway. The vehicle can tow 3,500 pounds and it weighs 4,364 pounds. Now, yes, in a world where there's still a lot of options in this class with V6s, I think this 4-cylinder turbo might surprise you. So why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see the CX-9 in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 CX-9 Signature Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking for a new 3-row SUV. We just had a couple extra kids. They were accidents. I'm not going to tell them that, but I do want to drive them around in style, but I also want some fun driving characteristics for me because I like driving. How much is this CX-9 Signature? Very good question. MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right at $50,000. Let's see what you get for the money and if you should be holding out for the CX-90 to the door panels. I do like the two-tone, not my favorite two-tone, but it definitely looks pretty. Soft touch material up top. I'm digging that silver finish, something better than just gloss black. Then you're gonna get that creamy beige. It's Napa leather, great stitching. There is gloss black around the switchgear. I am gonna zonk that because that's just gonna make fingerprint mess all over the place. You get real wood. So after a hard day at work, you can rub your wood, or your passenger can rub your wood and make things a little bit more relaxed. You do have a Bose sound system. Door pocket is a pretty good size. I'm thinking go all in, get the cold cut trio. Forego on the combo, get the trio. extra pickles, and you could put a bottle of Mountain Dew in there, code red, of course. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, some would say it looks dated. I still think it looks very, very clean. Soft touch. Love the silver trim. There's that creamy beige. Like I said, not my favorite, but you are getting that 10.25 infotainment system screen. I think the biggest zonk that everybody would say is that it's not a touchscreen. I personally don't care because I know how to use the direct drive control knob in one of these, but I know that if you look at all the other brands from Honda to Kia and everybody else in between, they all have touchscreens. This one, you can touch it. It just doesn't do anything. Backup cameras, though, are as clear as freaking day. Love the way they got the trajectory lines, your 360. And like I said, if you want to switch, you got to use the direct drive control knob, which I'll show you more of that in a second. And then you just go right back into park. It really isn't that complicated. Working your way down, you got your start-stop button, nice and high. Your AC vents, nicely styled. We do have a heated steering wheel, of course. We have heated seats. And don't worry, we also have 3 stages of ventilated seats. I do love the knobs. They give that nice click like you're opening up a safe. Let me shut those off because they make a loud noise. I don't want Steven to get bothered. You do have your dual climate, all the controls there. Wireless charging. This is going to control your 6-speed automatic. There is some gloss black, but you really shouldn't be touching that. To put it into sport mode, it's real easy. Watch this. Sport mode, not sport mode. Sport mode, not sport mode. So they keep it simple that way. You do have your direct drive control knob. Like I said, once you get the hang of this, it's easy peasy. They give you a real deal volume knob. Love the wood finish. 2 cup holders. You still get your standard Mazda key fob. Not too shabby. It looks good and it's not too heavy. It's not going to poke you in the family jewels, which is great. I love how high the armrest is, and it's super soft. Open this bad boy up. I could go like this, or I could go like this, or I could go like that. Now, it's going to be hard for Steven to showcase what's in there, but basically, you could put 2 packages of ramen noodles. One of those things that I survived on in college. You could keep maybe 3. Let's call it 3. I'm looking at it now. I'm going to reevaluate. 3 packages of ramen noodles, USB A's, and then the seats go back to Napa, baby. Napa leather all the way down, the stitching, the piping, nice electric assist on the bottom. I have electric assist as well. It would have been nice to have some type of Alcantara material up top. And then the other big zonk is this. Standard size sunroof. I would like a panoramic sunroof right about now, especially for 50 G's. But why don't you go ahead, get your butt, get on over here. I want to show you behind the wheel of the CX-9. All right, guys, behind the business end, nice soft seating. I love the way they put this silver finish on the seat controls because it just, I don't know, it feels extra special. You do get 2 memory seat settings, so you can let somebody borrow your CX-9. Maybe that person that you had some accidental kids with, maybe they want to borrow your CX-9. To be honest with you, I like the space in here. Maybe compared to the new Honda Pilot or a Telluride, it's a little on the tighter side, but I kind of like that. That's just me. Steering wheel though, black leather, looking good. You do have that Mazda horn button. It would be nice to put some stitching here, especially because this is the signature edition. You do have flat black everywhere. Paddles are out on the smaller side, and they are plastic to go up and down the 6-speed automatic. You do have a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then you have the dash. I'm fine with it. Digital display in the center for your speedometer. Everything else is analog, easy to read, easy to understand, and you have a large head-up display. But why don't we go ahead, let's get a heads up on what's going on in the back seat, the mid-row of this CX-9. Hi guys, come on in. Captain style in these captain's chairs. I really love the way they have this arranged. It's very comfortable, and like I said, maybe it doesn't have as much space as some of the competitors. It is a very comfortable space. Now on the back of the seat, you get that Napa leather all the way around. You actually have 2 separate pockets, so you could put a couple chocolate chip cookies, and then get that out of here. What is that? Then the bottom one, you can keep a couple magazines back there. Maybe some Nintendo Power magazines, maybe a Motor Trend or a Road and Track. I personally prefer Road and Track over Motor Trend. That's just my personal taste. Back of the command center, you do have your easy to understand AC controls, your AC vents, and before you get upset that there's nothing down here connectivity wise, just hold that thought. As I'm sitting here, you do have your manual sunshades, which is actually helping Steven out, stopping the sun from creating extra glare. We do have 3 stages of heated seats, but the problem is there's no ventilated seats. And in the top trim, that's a zonk. I do like the way there's this hidden compartment for your Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards. Put those right down there, hide them away. 2 cup holders, and then you get the same exact center armrest is up front, just a little bit smaller. 2 USB-A's in there, so that's where your connectivity is. And you could keep, I would say, wow, that's kind of deep in there. I would say probably 3 magic 8 balls. And no, I'm not talking about 8 balls as in narcotics. I'm talking about the kind that you shake up and it talks to you. It tells you something. You ask it a question and it tells you something. But why don't we go ahead, enough about you and your narcotic thoughts. Let's go ahead and get into the 3rd row and see if you have to be on narcotics to want to sit back there. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, 3rd row time, and yeah, it's something to talk about. First of all, my knees are way too high. I do like the way the rear seat is angled back. Just so you know, the mid row does slide and the seats do recline, and I had to slide this seat as you can see, look, I just pushed it even more. You can see how I'm sliding it. I actually had to move it forward. If I pull it all the way back, that's what I have for space. So it gets a little on the tighter side. You do get connectivity back here, which is nice. I have a cup holder and a little place for some gummy bears. But other than that, I think the thing that I like the most is that they kept the material consistent all the way through. And I do like the way they kind of rounded this bottom portion of the 3rd row. It makes it a little bit more comfortable. But what's crazy is there's no AC vents back here. Can you imagine on a 98-degree temperature kind of day here in Florida with 100% humidity? I would not want to be sitting back here. I would need narcotics. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that cargo area and see what we could fit in the CX-9. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Hit the button, nice electric assist. I left the 3rd row up because I want to show you what's going on. Now, it may not look like a lot of room, but this is actually 14 cubic feet of space. That's quite generous for these 3 rows when the 3rd row is up. On the passenger side, you do have a 12 volt. That's what that little battery symbol is there, letting you know that there's a 12 volt underneath, right down deep in there. And then as we back out, before I fold down the seats, I do want to show you that Mazda knows that if you got a family trip, you need to load up on the Twinkies. Check it out. You could easily put, I would say, 12 boxes of Twinkies in there. That's going to make sure that you arrive alive and not pull out all your hair when your kids get hangry. You could throw them some Twinkies, maybe get them some ding-dongs, because they probably act like a bunch of ding-dongs on the road trip. But we'll put that back down. You do get a spare. But what I love about these seats is that they're so easy to fold. Watch this. Look, I'm going to do it with one finger. This is the magic finger. Boom. Boom. That's it. Boom. Boom. 1, 2, buckle your shoe. 3, 4, fold the floor. And that's what we just did. Nice and flat. Now, when you fold down that 3rd row, what are we talking about when it comes to size? We're talking about 38.2 cubic feet of space. Fold down the mid row, you're looking at 71.2 cubic feet of space. Not the largest in the segment. I can tell you that right now, not the largest in the segment, but you do get those sexy captain's chairs. So there's like a give and a take. It's like any other relationship. You got to do that C word. Yes, compromise. So why don't we go ahead? I showed you the space. We popped open this hatch. I hit the magical button. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go do some zooming of our own in the CX-9. All right, guys, we're gonna get out onto the highway here and see how this CX-9 Signature Edition does the business while you're doing your daily commute. I'm gonna slow down. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna take the shifter, put it over to the driver's side to the left. That allows you to use the paddles on throttle. Here we go. So it really shows that you could have a 4-cylinder turbo. It may seem like the end of the world, but with 320 pound-feet of torque, it's got plenty of oomph. It's the torque that really is the most important. and you do have plenty of torque with this vehicle. The 6-speed, yes. It'd be nice if there were a couple extra gears from a fuel economy standpoint, but from an actual driving standpoint, I don't mind the 6-speed automatic one bit. Visibility on the gauges is very clear, and you have the head-up display. And as you can see, driving in highway traffic, it's smooth. There's not a lot of road noise, not a lot of wind noise. On the Signature Edition, you get more sound deadening material, more insulation, and it really kind of closes out the outside world, especially with these comfortable seats. But definitely plenty of power to get out of its own way, and it's very responsive. I think even more so than the new 2.4 liter turbocharged engine in the new Highlander. Because remember, Highlander V6 has gone bye-bye. They now have a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. All right, guys, on throttle, around the bend, here we go. Round and round and round we go. This is the zoom I was telling you about. So it's gonna be interesting to see what this CX-90 is all about, because it's gonna have a straight 6 turbocharged engine. So that's gonna be very, very interesting. And it's also, from what I understand, gonna be rear-wheel drive based. So I'm very, very happy to say that the driving characteristics are probably gonna be even better than this vehicle. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes, that's for sure. But hopefully this has been a good overall review of the CX-9 Signature. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another fun day here on Rady's Rides with this Mazda CX-9. Definitely gotta thank everybody at Mazda USA for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle, the last of the CX-9. Let me know what you think. Is this still a viable option for model year 2023, or are you gonna hold out and wait for the CX-90, which is the replacement for this? Let me know in that comment section what you think is the wise decision to make. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. We got to give it up. Stephen Flood Photography, working that camera, doing the business. Even though he only got 1 hour of sleep last night, he's here. And the bad dreams, we're going to try to get those handled for you, Stephen. So thank you for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.